Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with Lori Winters, where she tells us how engaging your employees can lead to better business results, as well as why you can't be everything for everybody. Don't go anywhere. Part 2 is coming up next.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performance Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. What's some of the, without disclosing any confidentiality, what are some of the industries that you've seen that you're like, wow, that's a pretty interesting business? Because things are changing so rapidly as well, right? I mean, at one point, buggy whips were a real good business back in the 1800s, 1900s. Horse and carriage were a great business. Technology is changing so quickly. What do you think are going to be some of the best businesses going forward?
Oh, gosh.
Come on, you're a Georgia Tech grad.
Yeah. Anything
Step
in
up.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Robotics, self-driving vehicles. There's a lot of those, though, I think, coming out now.
And all the industries that service those.
All the industries that service those.
That don't exist today.
Right. And I would also say, in my mind, we see a lot of things that are going on with healthcare.
Yes.
Whether it be medical practices that are clients of ours or, insurance companies we work with or whatever. And that whole industry it's going to be disrupted everywhere. And I think in certain areas when it comes to healthcare, there's going to be some really interesting things coming out. So I don't know that everything is I couldn't tell you. I don't have a perfect, crystal ball as to what that looks like, but there's going to be so much disruption in the world of healthcare. So, AI and all of those great things, I'm still trying to figure out what that means to us and all the voice activated and voice recognition things that are out there. I think there's so many interesting things. We have clients in the technology space, healthcare space, really any industry we work with. But there's some really interesting things coming. I love it. I love all the technology.
Someone told me recently that they seek opportunities in an industry that is 7% of a segment. So if it was computer technology or you can even narrow it down even further, computing, cloud services, they're looking for a little 7% niche of that overall industry, and then they want to control 70% of that 7%.
Right.
And I thought that was really interesting. Find a small little pond with no one that's paying any attention to, and then dominate in that pond.
I think that's great advice. I love that. It's something that we always work on. And, it's difficult because as business owners and when you're running a business, cash is king and profit is king. And you're always looking about, how to grow. But the best businesses, you see all the examples of this, right? Best businesses out there have figured that out. They figure out a niche and they just go deep and they know everything about it. I think that's a great plan. I think it's hard. It's really hard because you have this, when you're growing a business, you have this desire and need to grow and sell, and you'll almost take anything at the beginning. But as we've grown, we've really gotten better at becoming much more focused in certain verticals and certain areas. But those that really get specific in a niche, they can just own it. And I love that. I love to see businesses like that.
Yeah. I think the first company that I created, when someone asked me who was my ideal customer, I would have said breathing.
Exactly.
And then I matured, right? And then I said, able to pay their bill.
That's
right?
key.
Yeah,
that's a nice
right.
one.
Yes. But it's funny, as you mature, you start to understand that when the metrics are set like that, you end up with so many issues, and it's so difficult to make profit in an environment like that.
You do. There's so many issues. Everything is, so spread out. And then you're not able to I think even more importantly is if you focus on a niche and you really understand the needs of that prospect, then you can add so much value to them that you're not selling them anything. You're really, as much as they do or more, and you're able to help them. And that's a great business plan.
Yeah.
Then you're not out there having to, you're not selling anything. And we love to help. We love to help clients.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants to feel that they're helping someone when they're selling something. So I think that's great advice, and it's hard for entrepreneurs to do. And the ones that figure that out definitely have a leg up and are successful.
Yeah, when we started, the whole process or the whole reason was really based around, let's try to figure out how to take these struggling entrepreneurs that just can't seem, they've got a $1, $2, $3 million business, and they just can't seem to figure out how to put money to the bottom line. They're just not making any profits. I mean, they'd be better off just taking a job somewhere, but they have this business. They're stuck in it almost. Let's help them get through that transition. That's really where we started. And then we found that, obviously they're struggling in that area. It was a struggle also to engage us. And then we've stumbled across the client that was making gobs of money, and they were like, you know what? I want you to help us figure out how to make another 2%. And I was like, we can do that. And for that, we've got gobs of money to pay you. It was like, wait a second, I think we've been after the wrong customer here. It's like we want to help. You always want, at least from our firm, in my perspective. I mean, that's the reason we started. That's what we wanted to do. Prospect came to me the other day, and their entire business model is based around serving nonprofits. And there was just the energy just came right out of my shoulders. I said, it's like, I love the fact. I mean, I do. I mean, I love the fact that you want to help in this space. But do you realize that you're servicing a base that doesn't have a lot of money? That's not a good place to be if you want to make money. If you want to do this on the side and do it pro bono or something like that, that's great. But if this is going to be your lane, man, it's going to be a lean lane.
I tell you though, can I disagree just a little bit?
Of course you can.
Can I name some? I can name somebody.
Yes, go.
There's a company out there. It's actually a partner of ours, but I want to throw something out for them. The name of the company is Belay. So it used to be EA Help and Mag Bookkeeping, but they totally focus on nonprofits. In fact, most of their clients are small upstart churches. So talk about no money, right? No money. But what they've done is they go in and they've perfected the process of bookkeeping, outsourced payroll, and that type thing. And they've really perfected the process to take all the administrative nightmare out and really streamline it and make it cost effective, because they don't go in. I think the mistake people make is they go in and they want to be everything to everybody and try to be real flexible, and that doesn't work. So what they do is they go in and they say, here's what we do and here's what we charge for it. We don't go outside the box. We do this. And they do it incredibly well, and they have grown like crazy, and they are a profitable company. So I think it can be done. It just has to be done in a way that you don't deviate from what your plan is. You provide something and you know exactly what to charge for it, and you don't go outside the lines. You got to stay in your lane a little bit and help them. And I think it actually has helped the churches that they help be able to survive and grow. So
I like that. Yeah,
it is doable. But on our side, we've always been, like you say, we love small businesses. And we're passionate about it. I grew a business. I love small business. But there are some companies that no matter what, they're just going to be very difficult for us to help because the cash is very, very tight. And, sometimes they also they need a lot of customization and help because they don't have any resources. And that's a recipe for failure, because you're trying to do too much and making too little. So there's a fine line. I think you just have to determine, I think if you go into a niche or to a segment that's small, either low cash, small cash flow or low profit margin, you just have to be very specific as to what you provide.
Now, I got to tell you, most people that come on to this show from Georgia Tech prove me wrong in less than 40 minutes. It took you 40 minutes to disagree with me. So you don't have, you're not crowned the champion because, usually I get proven wrong in the first 5 minutes from Georgia Tech grads. I love that, though. And you know what? I got to agree with you. If you're going to stick to your guns and you have a plan that is, this is what we do and this is what we don't do, and it fits into that segment, and what I like what you said is that it's a very narrow lane.
Right.
I think you can make money there. I'm one of those all-in kind of guys, right? It's just like, if I'm going to be there to help you, I'm all in. It's funny. I'm headed to Thailand. I don't know, 2 days. And I'll be gone for 10 days. So I'm touching base with some of my clients. And look, if they call me at 3 o'clock in the morning and something's blowing up, it's like I'm going to be all in. It's like I'm there. We are going. It's funny because every time we're doing something, I say, what's our goals this week? What are we doing this year?
Right.
It's never, what are you doing? It's like, what are we doing? It's like, I feel like I'm part of the team.
You're all in. So
I'm all in. Some of my clients here in town, it's like I got a parking pass. I've got access to their office. It's like Christmas parties. I had like 15 Christmas parties. And it was like, I'm not an employee.
I can't tell that about you. I can't tell that you have any passion.
Yeah, I know. All right. We've gotten off track here. What problem, what pain point does your business solve for your customers?
Oh, good question. So in most small businesses have very little in the way of HR and payroll resources. They're anywhere from 50 to really the sweet spot 50 to 250 employee companies, and we've got some that have a few thousand. We have some that have 2 employees, but for the most part they have a handful of people at most in their HR benefit payroll group. And right now what we're seeing is that there are a lot of companies out there that are running multiple systems, one for maybe HR information, one for payroll. Sometimes they've got a benefit platform that their broker is running, performance reviews. And so what we really do is we go in, and sometimes we can't replace everything, but we'll build custom integration to existing systems. But for the most part, we try to go in and put in a single database platform that alleviates the need for multiple entries. So you can take away the HR, payroll, and timekeeping benefits platforms and put them into a single system. So what we see that is, what we're passionate more about helping HR teams become more strategic in what they do for their businesses. So many times HR professionals are focused on boring administrative tasks and aren't able to really add the value that they would like to add to their companies that they work for. And if you're a large company, you've got a lot of resources in that area. But if you're small, you've only got a handful of people. So you really need those HR people focusing on bigger picture items and not, entering a new hire in 3 different systems. So what we're more passionate about is helping them become more strategic in what they do and helping them become more valuable to the companies they work for by alleviating a lot of that dual entry and administrative burden.
I absolutely love this because I can't tell you the number of times I have people on the show, or I'll meet someone and I'll say, tell me about your business. And they'll tell me what their business does for their customer, and I don't have a clue. And it's not because I didn't go to Georgia Tech, I swear. It's like they just ramble on with this buzzword or industry jargon, blah, blah, blah. It's like I get done. I'm like, I have no idea what you just said. What you just said is so clear and concise and makes so much sense. And you're absolutely right. There is a need for a platform so all these things work together and you only have to do it once. I was going to ask you, why did you change the name from Choice Payroll a while back to Thread? I get it. I know why it's called Thread now. The name
Well,
makes sense, and how you explained it makes sense.
Right. And Thread for us is more about connections.
Yeah.
So connecting the people and the technology. So, technology is great, but if you don't have it, if it doesn't make it better for the people that are using it, then it's just technology with no purpose.
Right. Absolutely love this. We got about 3 minutes left, and I wanted to touch on an ebook that you authored. Employee Engagement Drives Business Success. Give us just a couple highlights from that ebook.
I'm so glad you brought it up, because I saw on your site, Thor states profitability, the only thing that matters in business, right? And I love that, because the ebook is, you hear employee engagement is a buzzword, and everybody thinks, it's, foosball and kegerators and making it fun. And we've tried all those things. And what we realized is it's really not about that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of books and research done about what it really is. But what's most important is to get it across to business owners that employee engagement actually drives business results. So if you can't equate it to business results, then business owners who care about profitability aren't going to care about it. So, there's a ton of research behind how engaged employees, produce discretionary effort, and how that leads to more profitable business. And so that's why I wanted the title to be more about the business results. But, we go into a lot of detail and spend a lot of time, in our business, making sure that we have the right people for the culture that we have built, and, making sure you've got the right people in the right positions that they're good at and passionate about. But more importantly than, the other items about employee engagement is really about coaching them, giving them direct goals that are attainable, training them on how to get there, building that around a very transparent process so there's trust involved, and giving them a roadmap on how to improve and grow in their positions. So, we've done a lot around that in this business, and we consult and we help our clients in this area as well. But I think the most important thing to get across to business owners is that engaged employees equate to increased business results. And I think that's the most important thing. It's not just about having fun and fun people. It's more about having those people drive the business results that you're looking for.
Awesome. I mean, it's so many businesses complain about this area. My people aren't engaged. And one of my pet peeves is scoreboards. It's like, yes, employees aren't engaged. Great. Show me the scoreboard. The what? The scoreboard, I mean, we're playing a game here, aren't we? I mean, we're in business. We're doing something. What's the results? What's happening? If you want people engaged, could you imagine going to the game last night?
And there's no scoreboard.
And there's no scoreboard.
Right.
It's like, how engaging would it be? Well, it would be pretty cool. They're passing. It's like, who's winning? Oh, we're winning. No, we're winning. No, we're winning. No, I don't know who's winning. Of course you don't, because there's no scoreboard. You got to have a scoreboard. So if you want people engaged, have a scoreboard.
They've got to know what they need to do. They have to know what they're accountable to, and what defines success in their role.
Yeah.
I truly believe most people go to work wanting to do a good job. A lot of times they don't know what that means. Yeah. They don't know what the definition of success is and how to get there, and sometimes not given a little bit of empowerment to make the decisions that they need to make. So, I agree. Scoreboard. Yeah. But it depends on what you're scoring.
Yeah, and who are you rooting for? There were people at the game. I was watching at a local pub. There were people at the game that were rooting for both sides. Didn't matter who was going on. Yay! They're jumping up and down. They were probably right.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Have fun with it. Well,
Lori, that's an area of passion. So thank you for bringing that up. Love
it. Thank you. Thanks for it. It stood out because engagement is so important with your folks.
Absolutely.
Let the audience know how they can get in touch with you if they would like some more information on Thread HCM.
Absolutely. So our website is www.threadhcm.com. We've got all of our contact information there, and there's an email address at info@threadhcm.com as well. And we would love to help anybody, but I'm This was so much fun. And more importantly, we like to, just give as much advice as we can in any area that we know something about. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. This has been great. We could have gone on for hours here, and we look forward to having you back on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. If you're not getting the results you want and need, I guarantee no one's holding you accountable. Now, let's face it. Who really wants to be held accountable? Not me, right? Nobody. Why would you want to be held accountable? It's not part of our nature. However, if you want to get exceptional results, you must be held accountable. For $95 a month, our team will hold you accountable to those goals that you want to accomplish in any given month. If you don't like it, ask for your money back. But truly, if you're not getting the results, it's because no one's holding you accountable. The only question is, are you willing to step up?